Hello and welcome to the Ask Dr. E show. This is Dr. E and my lovely wife Robin.
Hi.
And we're always glad to be with you guys. And this week we're going to be talking about kids. Did you know there are 10 phrases that your kids need to hear almost daily, but at least pretty often? And we want to talk about those 10 phrases today. So stay
Right.
tuned with us. And you might want to get a pen or a pencil and write these 10 things down because your kids need to hear these things. Robin, when you think about kids and things that they need to hear, what would be the first one you would say?
I love you no matter what. When they get in trouble, when they mess up,
Yeah.
or if they're good, they need to know I love you no matter what. They need discipline, but they need to feel safe. And a lot of times when children are disciplined, they're not.
Yeah, they don't feel that way.
It's like anger coming from the parents, and their eyes are shooting, daggers at them, and the voices are raised, and it's
Yeah.
just not a good environment. And
Yeah.
they need that first of all. You need to chill. I love you no matter what. You messed up.
You know, I remember years ago, and I told you about this, I was at a baseball game, and there was a kid playing third base, and probably fourth or fifth grade, something like that. And his dad was on the third base line on the other side of the fence, and was just railing on his boy all the time. Every time he didn't make a right throw or he missed a ball or whatever. And probably in the third or fourth inning, the batter hit a really hard ground ball and went right between the legs of the third baseman and rolled out almost all the way to the fence. He hit it so hard, rolled way out there. And his dad started screaming at him, and he said, you know, I cannot believe that you missed that ground ball, and I can't stand you. You make me sick to my stomach. You're not even my son. Thankfully, the umpire called timeout and goes over and kicked the guy out of the ballpark, which he should have been.
Should have been.
But that kid stood there on the third base rather, and cried, and he was completely humiliated in front of all of his friends. So when you think about that statement, "I love you no matter what," what do you think that kid thinks?
That his dad doesn't love him, and he's
Yeah.
not proud of him, which I wish I'd been at that ball game because I would have been out on that field.
I'm glad that you weren't because
Oh my
you'd been
goodness,
in jail.
I can't stand that. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Somebody need to whop that guy.
Here's another one that I want you to share, that second one there, that your kid needs to hear. I love you no matter what. And secondly, they need to hear what?
Okay, I'm right here, which means your presence, your body. You need to be there. So many times parents will say, "Well, I'll be there, or "Well, I'll get there as soon as I can. I'm sorry I can't be there, but you know I love you and I'm proud of you and I know you'll do great."
Just
Wrong.
not having time.
Wrong.
Yeah.
You show them by not being there, they're not first. They
Yeah.
don't count with you.
Yeah.
And it's terrible for a child.
Well, and that's another thing I think we fall into the trap of quality time versus quantity. And we kind of excuse ourselves, say, well, I can't give much time to my kid, but I give them quality time. You know, well, when does quality time occur? From 7:30 to 9 at night, or 5:30 to 6 in the evening? When does it happen? You can't dictate when quality time occurs. So you need to give your kid both quality and quantity time. And they need to know when you say the words, "I'm here for you," that you really are, that they can count on you no matter what. That my dad, my mom, they're going to be there for me no matter what. They love me no matter what, and they're going to be there for me no matter what.
Like the mom of that little boy, I'd been on that field and his daddy would have been off of there. You know, because he needs to know somebody stands up for him. So,
Even a strange pink-haired
Even-
woman?
yeah. I mean, it could have been me, but if I'd been the mama, I'd been out there. But
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. I don't think the kid's mother was there, which
Okay.
was probably a good thing in the sense that she didn't have to witness how her son was humiliated. So I love you no matter what. I'll be there for you no matter what. And then the third one, you've already alluded to it a little bit, but go ahead and say it again.
Okay, third one, you're safe with me.
Yeah.
There is just a difference. They trust us. So they trust us to take care of them. And you can tell it when our grandkids, when Chris or Kathy, Brian or Chelsea walk up, there's a difference. Mom and dad are there. They're at a ball game, whatever they're playing. It makes a difference. They feel safe with you. They know you're there.
I mean, how often do they look up into the stands during a ball game or whatever to see if we're there? And if we're not there, then we hear about it. You know, if something's going on and we have a wedding or a funeral or something on a Saturday. So where were you guys at?
Yeah.
They want us to be in the stands. They want to know that we love them enough to be present, to be there, and they're safe. You know, the thing I thought about with that little boy, getting yelled at by his dad that way. He did that in public.
Right.
It makes you wonder what goes on in that little boy's life when he's at home.
Yeah.
If a dad would do something like that in public, I shudder to think what that little boy goes through when he's at home with his dad. What's another phrase they need to hear?
I won't let you do that. This is boundary, but you said, I won't let you do that.
I won't let you
and
do that.
a calm voice. Or
Yeah.
you can't do that. No, it's I won't let you do that.
Yeah.
So you're setting that tone in love, but you're just setting boundaries right then. You're saying, no, we can't do that.
And I think that's what parents need to remember. Your role is to be your child's parent, not their best friend. They got all the friends they need. They need a parent. And sometimes parents have to say, I'm not going to let you do that. I won't let you do that because it's not good for you, it's not safe for you, or it's a bad environment. I don't want you to see that movie because it's got bad things in it. I'm not going to let you do that. And you can say it in a calm voice and yet still draw that line saying, that's something that's a line you're not going to cross. So don't even bother to ask me because I won't let you do that. And I think after a while they begin to put two and two together and they put similar things together. You know, like this activity or that activity. I know my mom or my dad they're not going to let me do that. And by the way, you should never let your kids divide and conquer. Like if dad says no, I'll ask mom. If mom says no, I'll ask dad. That is a bad place to be. You know, if you allow that to happen. What's the next one?
Okay. This is let's try that again. Okay, so when they mess up or they can't do it or, you know, like you're teaching them, anything that you would be teaching them. Like I taught piano. I would just say, let's start over. You know, you get so mad. Adults, by the way, are the worst at piano starting it because they don't, you know, think they should know it first. But kids, you just say, that's okay. We'll just start over playing baseball, playing basketball,
Right.
and make a mistake. We see kids that are just, like you said, like that dad did. But you just say, that's okay. Let's just start over. Let's start at the beginning again. With your daughters, you know, could be with their dancing. Or like Josie.
Yeah, I've seen so many kids. And kids, I mean, let's just be honest. Kids are not going to be great at something they're trying, you know, for the first time. Or maybe they've done it a few times, but they're not going to be great at it. But there's no need for a parent to get upset and mad and embarrass them and humiliate them for this. So I think the phrase, let's try that again. You know, I'm throwing you a ground ball, misses, the kid misses it or whatever, or they're taking a shot with a basketball and they miss. Instead of just saying, you know, I've shown you this shot 50 times or 100 times, why can't you get it right? Why not just say, hey, let's try it again. I know you can do this. I've got confidence in you. Let's try this again. All right? What's the next one, Robin?
Okay, I see you're upset. Not, why are you doing that? Why are you talking like that? Why are you, you know, you're yelling. Just, I see you're upset. If they're crying or screaming or whatever, you're telling them that they're upset. Naming it.
You're naming their emotion. You're showing them that, hey, I know you're upset. I'm not oblivious to this. It's not that I don't care. Let's talk about what's going on with you. Let's talk about why are you upset and what can we do about it, you know. And sometimes kids just get upset. You know, they get angry and they throw a fit.
Okay, they come home from school. They're tired.
Yeah.
They're hungry. They don't want anybody to mess with them, really. They want to just watch TV or they want to do whatever. And they get upset over the least little thing. And we need to remember they're just kids. Let them, their emotions come from other places than what we would think.
They're still learning how to
Yeah,
control
they
their
are.
emotions.
And
They
so
don't know
you need
how.
to remember that. Put yourself in their place, not to misbehave.
Yeah.
Not disbehave, misbehave. But put yourself in their shoes. I remember coming home from school and being so tired and, you know, hungry and all that stuff, and I just didn't want anybody to bother me.
Oh, I remember when Chelsea was a little girl, our youngest, she wanted to come home, watch cartoons, and eat a bowl of soup. She didn't want to talk to anybody. She didn't want to have any chores to do. She just needed some chill time, and so she did that just about every day. And then there's one that kind of goes along with that. It's okay to feel that way. What you're saying to the child is that feelings are allowed even when behavior isn't. Like when I won't let you do that, I'm not going to let you throw your toy across the room. That's a line, so you don't cross that. but I acknowledge the fact that you have these feelings and that you're upset. Maybe you're mad or angry, but throwing something across the room is not good behavior. So I will not allow you to do that.
Right.
So what would you do? You got a kid picks up a toy that maybe you paid $50 for. They throw it across the room, break it into a million pieces. What do you do?
Well, you and I are different because
I'm saying, what would you do?
what would I do? I would go over and ask them what's wrong. We don't throw things. Now look what happened. We broke it. Because to me, material things, it doesn't matter. Kids matter. You break them. We don't want to break their will. We want to teach them to behave, but we don't want to break their will.
Their spirit.
So, their spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can clean that up, and I have them help me clean it up, and then we talk about why we don't do that. But you don't go over there and just start railing on them, which I have seen many parents do. Restaurants, wherever you are, any little mistake, they drop something, they spill it, the whatever.
Okay, so they broke the toy. Are you going to go buy them another one? Because I would not, unless it's Josie, our youngest granddaughter.
No,
Then
you can't do that.
I would do that.
No, you
I would
can't
do
do that. No.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but at the same time, I wouldn't. The first time it wouldn't punish them because, you need to talk about it, and we're not doing that. We don't do that,
Okay.
you know.
All right, what's the next one? What's something else your kids need to hear?
Oh, when they try it and they can't do it and they get upset, and you need to assure them things are going to be hard, but you can try. Keep trying. Don't stop. They're going to be hard.
I'm proud of the way you handled
And
that.
I love the way you handle what you do.
Yeah.
Like when you try to throw that ball, or when you try to do that problem in math and you can't get it. Chelsea calls Chris. That's what would happen. But just anything you would try. Tell them, I'm glad what you've done so far. Let's see what we can do now.
Yeah. And it affirms them that I appreciate you trying that. I noticed you're trying it. You're trying really hard, and I'm proud of you. So you're talking about the effort, not just the outcome, because sometimes they're still going to fail again.
Mm-hmm.
The outcome might not be what it eventually will be, but at that moment, you're just showing them appreciation for trying, for the effort. All right, what's the next one?
Okay. Well, pretty much you can do hard things. When you build their resilience and their confidence, you make them feel like what they do matters and they matter. So what they say is important. How they treat others is important. How they feel about themselves. You treat them how to do that. So in making them have they have confidence in themselves, then you build them strong. They have resilience. They can face anything. But you can't beat them down. You just can't. And
I've heard, and you have too, you've heard people in, like the grocery store, Walmart, or wherever it might be, where you've got a parent just railing on their kid. I've even heard them say, "You are so stupid." Saying that to their own kid, "You are so stupid." It just destroys their confidence, and they're going to have a hard time ever getting over that in their life, because those words stay with you. Sometimes all of your life. Is that, and what you conclude is that my parents didn't believe in me. They just did not believe in me. So you need to teach them to believe that they're capable, that they can do things, they can try things. Even if they fail, they can get back up and try again. So that's a good thing. What's the 10th one?
okay, we'll figure this out together. Just whatever it is, we can figure it out. We can, if even it doesn't come to the conclusion that we want it to, it's okay. We can figure this out together. And that's why when with our grandkids, I'll say, well, I couldn't do this. I couldn't do this when I was your age. And Halle Bell, I told her when she was younger, I can't draw Halle Bell. They always wanted me to draw something. I can't even draw stick
She
people.
cannot. She's terrible.
I'm terrible.
She's terrible.
The kids, Chris, all of them, Nick and Chelsea, Mark, our grandkids, they're great. Not me. So she was just determined I was going to do it. Oh, Rara, you can do this. You can do this. And I said, baby, I can't. Okay, I'm going to teach you. So I started, and she goes, no, Rara, you're right. You can't do it. You can't do it.
She's told you the truth.
Yeah, she
you're
did.
right, Robert.
But when you tell them the truth, do it in
Yeah.
just a nice way or a fun way, or make it where it's, not the end of the world.
Well, I think when you say to them, hey, we'll figure this out together, what you're really saying to them, it's a reminder that you are not alone in this life. You can always count on me. I will help you, and I'm never going to give up on you. And I think kids need to hear that. So there are 10 phrases that your kids need to hear, probably on a weekly basis, or at least on occasion when something's going on in their life. So use these 10 phrases over and over and over, and you'll raise healthier kids. God bless you. Thanks for joining the Ask Dr. E show. See you next week.
Bye-bye.